in Machakos County. Many would have thought it's Wiper, but there you go. But joining me now in studio to continue with this conversation is a political analyst, and that's Dismas Mokua. First of all, Dismas, morning, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Are you surprised that the queues are quite huge in favor of ODM, showing that, you know, quite a number of people support ODM in that particular area?
Well, I'm not surprised. You know, in Kenya has now largely been divided to Jubilee and NASA. So if you're running in a NASA zone, or a NASA area, or a NASA stronghold, you can actually run on any of the political parties. So if you're in Machakos, obviously the dominant party is going to be Wiper. But for a few guys who fear competition in the Wiper primaries, they would probably go to Maendeleo Chap Chap, go to ODM, go to Amani National Congress, or go to Ford Kenya. So there's nothing surprising. But obviously at the end of the day in Machakos, the Wiper will have a stronger say.
All right, now looking at a place like Busia where stakes are high and looking at even the propaganda that's already being thrown around, we have Paul Otuoma coming out to say that there is publications that are maligning his name. Then we have on the other hand the governor, the incumbent, saying that actually we do know that Otuoma is a Jubilee mole. Is that something that is expected, and is it necessary at this point in time, really?
Well, Busia is considered to be an ODM stronghold. So if you've got the ODM nomination, probability of you becoming a governor is very high. It's almost 100%. So that's why
the stakes are high.
Stakes are very high. That's why Otuoma would like to get the nomination and beat Ojamong. Because as soon as now you get the nomination for ODM, it's not even your campaign anymore. Now it's going to be a Raila Odinga campaign. And Raila Odinga has got irrational support in Busia. So as soon as he lands there and he says, you've given me either Otuoma or Jamong, that's the way to go, then the people are likely to follow. And you know, in politics, as we said earlier on, this is not the election of a pope at the Vatican. So people use all manner of mischief, all manner of propaganda and tactics. So it's not surprising for the governor, Ojamong, to indicate that, in fact, Otuoma is a Jubilee candidate. And the moment you mention Jubilee in parts of Western Kenya, they say Jubilee Tawe. Understanding the local dialect is to say Jubilee is not accepted here. So those are the kind of propaganda tactics that one would expect that Otuoma is alive to, and I suspect right now he's got his own strategy to counter that. So there'll be all manner of mischief, all manner of mischief. There'll be sex scandals coming up, corruption scandals coming up, and everything. Like you noticed earlier on, Otuoma was indicating that these campaigns are being run using county government resources, that those vehicles are all over distributing ballots. And Ojamong a few minutes on came on and said, these are Jubilee candidates, we are fattening him for slaughter. So there's all this manner of rumors, and you never know whether it's the case. But at the end of the day, it's for every candidate to come up with a very solid communication strategy and understand that the opponent would engage in mischief. Okay,
your thoughts so far on how they've begun, the nominations? It looks like they're fairly peaceful. We've not had any violent spats coming up. Should we expect that? And just your comments on how they've begun.
Well, initially the nominations were supposed to begin at 6 in the morning, so that if you're an ODM voter, you go to the station, you actually be able to cast your ballot. But even now, I think in most parts they've not started. So that indicates that ODM is not very good in the organization. Probably they have not followed the best practices. And all the political parties had an opportunity of going to IBC and sit with the technical committees of IBC for them to be given the best practices, for them to be given a good template. And in a place like Busia, where the stakes are very high, it's very likely the case that Mr. Otuoma would begin, or rather Dr. Otuoma will begin smelling a rat, that there's something going on, somebody is stuffing ballot papers, and the same is the case for Governor Ojamong. So it would be very prudent for ODM in other coming party primaries to ensure that everything is solid, that there's no room for anybody to imagine there is a mischief going on. Because when people go to the polling station at 6 o'clock, they have a very valid expectation that they're going to be casting their ballots. They'll join the queue and cast their ballots. But 2-3 hours later, when that's not is happening, it creates tension. And now it's very easy for one of the candidates to begin spreading rumors that the Jubilee candidate, as Governor Jamong has indicated, is stuffing ballot papers somewhere. So there must be very solid organization to kill rumors, to kill the opportunity for rumors, and to make sure there's no vacuum for mischief.
All right, I guess for the one of the largest parties in Kenya, it is wisdom for them to have scattered their nomination process in different days, as opposed to Jubilee, which is trying to do it in a day.
Well, when you look at Jubilee, you have to give them credit for very solid organization. Because I'm alive to the fact that Jubilee has been holding meetings with IBC. And they're using the IBC template. Even the terms of reference for all the electoral officers is anchored on IBC. Even the qualifications and what they're supposed to be doing And when you use the IBC template, probability of achieving success is very high. And I think ODM wanted to stagger the election because they're claiming they don't have enough resources so that they're able to zoom into only 3 counties. But not even now, with only 3 counties out of 47, what you see coming from especially Busia is not very exciting, it's not very appealing because people are still complaining. And that being a very high stakes region, one would have expected ODM to go the extra mile. And even the media conference they're planning to do at 11 o'clock, it doesn't seem to be making a lot of sense because the host has already left the station and people are already nervous and there's all this man of rumor. And I'm hoping that the ODM as a political party is going to institute disciplinary measures. Because when you have Governor Ojamong coming live on a TV station and claiming that Otoma, its competition, is a Jubilee member of, or rather is a Jubilee candidate, that is supposed to be investigated. Because you know, Busia being a very high stakes county, such kind of statements can easily lead to violence. Because it's very easy for somebody to lose his cool and engage in a fight, and before you know, it's trouble in Busia.
All right, thank you very much, Dismas Mokua, a political analyst, just weighing in on what's happening as the party primaries for Orange Democratic Movement kick off today. Remember